Ratchet and Clank made their next-gen debut on the PlayStation 5 in June of 2021 with their new game Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which sees the daring duo get separated after their Dimensionator weapon that they've repaired gets stolen by Nefarious, who then uses it to transport himself to another dimension where he is the ruler and he has actually beaten Ratchet. What ensues is a cool campaign that is pretty much just like every other Ratchet and Clank in a way, but this one's new mechanic is these dimensions and rifts that you can open up and jump through to instantly load into another version of the level or a different one entirely. So the game's good, but is it worthy of a platinum? And today on Should You Platinum, I'm going to be saying whether you should play it, plat it, or just avoid Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart entirely. So by the time I'd finally brought the last weapon on New Game Plus and unlocked the Masters of the Universe Platinum Trophy, I had spent a total of 14 hours playing the game, and in total there were 47 trophies, 3 gold, 7 silver and 36 bronze, and I'm going to be splitting them up and talking about them now. So the first bunch of trophies, the majority of them, is the story-based trophies. So these are just the trophies that you're going to, for the most part, just naturally get as you progress through the game, visiting every planet and doing the missions on each one. So these are just the ones that you'll just easily get without really trying, because they're just awarded for when you play the game. And in terms of the campaign's length, it took me probably, I would say, 13 hours to complete it all, and that was me just going from every planet and trying to do all of the things that I could on it before moving on to the next. And you should be aware that there are some trophies that are kind of semi-missable, in that you could complete a level and not get it and then have to go back and do it, like this one here where you're required to bounce on all of the balloons for all of the various different characters to get the Boing trophy. Now you should naturally get it as you're going through, but there is a chance that you might not do it if you glide across or whatever. So there are a couple of those that you'll find as you go through the game, that maybe 1 or 2 planets have a specific sort of task for you to do or an object for you to find in order to unlock them. Like, for example, on this planet we get to go into this battle arena, which you access through a bar, and in the corner of the bar there is a jukebox that you can go up to it and listen to songs, and then Rivet will do a dance, and if you play, I think it's like 5 or so different songs at the jukebox, you will eventually unlock the trophy for that. So while you might miss that in your first visit to the bar and that level, you do get to go back to that level multiple times, and once you beat the game, you can either change your save to a New Game Plus or revert back to just before you started the final mission, like a lot of open world games do. So you can easily just complete the game and then work on the trophies afterwards in your sort of free play to go back to all the planets and just do whatever you happen to miss. So another couple of trophies that you'll get is for completing the battle arena. So you'll do this naturally as part of the story doing the bronze cup, but you can also unlock the silver and gold, which is like the harder difficulties, and there's a trophy tied to doing a gold event, so that's just something you can always come back and do. The Lombax and Chill trophy requires you to go to Rivet's hideout on her own planet and go right the way back into her actual room, and on the sort of sofa there's a Cragger Bear, which is one of the collectibles that I'll talk about later, but you can also interact with the TV, and if you turn it on you get the Lombax and Chill trophy, but you can only do that once you've beaten the level. Like with specific levels for trophies, there are also specific weapons that will have a trophy tied to it, but they're all pretty much easy. You should easily get them if you're just simply using the gun to kill enemies. One of them is the Extreme Gardening trophy, which requires you to use the Topiary Sprinkler to basically throw down the weapon, and then it has a sprinkler that once the water shoots on an enemy, it turns them into like a hedge version of themselves, and if you then use the wrench to attack the enemies, if you do like 20 or so, I think it is, for the trophy, you'll get that one. So there are a couple of weapon specific ones that you need to do, but again, you get the weapons easily by buying them with the bolts that you collect, and then it's just a case of going to the vendor, buying it, and then just using it on the levels enemies basically to get it. There's one where you have to use the hover boots to actually jump and do some tricks in the air, but there's plenty of opportunities for you to do that. so it's quite an easy one. The first sort of time you get to use it on this planet isn't a good place to do it because you have to do it to get over the bridge. So yeah, a lot of the levels in this game are quite wide and open areas, and on the map you'll have your main objective in gold, but there's also a blue icon that is the optional objective. So if you tend to go into a level and do the optional objectives first, you'll often find some trophies tied to those missions, and then other ones like this one here, if you find this pool of water, you'll get a trophy for finding the people there. So it's always worth just doing the side missions as you go through, because one, it makes the game last a bit longer, two, you get more bolts, and three, you'll probably end up with a trophy afterwards. So it's always worth just doing those to keep the game lasting a bit longer and just enjoy it more, because I found it was better to do that than to go back at the end once I'd already beaten the game. So yeah, in terms of difficulty, it's probably one of the easier Ratchet and Clanks, to be honest. You can even pause the game and skip the puzzles if you don't like some of the puzzle sections of the game. So it's not something that's really gonna challenge you, test your gaming skills, to be honest. It's very much anyone can play this, anyone can sort of get the platinum trophy in it kind of game. So that could be a good thing or a bad thing for you if you were expecting a challenge and to have like a worthy platinum of to test your gaming skills kind of thing. This isn't really that game at all. It's kind of like Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales, in that it's basically just play the game, do all the side missions, get all the collectibles, and you'll pretty much have the platinum. Then there's not really too much else to worry about, really. It's more just experience the game, enjoy it, and you'll more than likely have the platinum at the end, or be very, very close to it with just a couple of things to do. And like in Spider-Man as well, a lot of the collectibles and stuff is marked on the map, so it just makes it really easy to do it. The Alert the Sponsors trophy, I think that's just for doing like 5 tricks on a single rail grind. So you just jump in the air as you're grinding on a rail, and you can easily get that. It's not really a tough trophy to be trying to get, to be honest. Just to mention a couple of the weapon trophies that you want to kind of keep an eye on with these. The Mr. Fungi trophy for spawning around 50 Mr. Fungis into the level. That's one that you want to kind of just work on as soon as you get that weapon, to be fair, because you can throw, I think it's about 3 Mr. Fungis at a single time. Otherwise, if you throw more, it will just despawn them, and I don't think that counts. So you just, as soon as you get that weapon, just keep getting in the habit of just throwing them to spawn them into almost every battle you come across, because it will also level them up, and it will also just get that trophy out of the way. There's another trophy, Just Stay Down, which I think is for the Warmonger, which is like the rocket launcher that you'll probably get around just over sort of halfway through the game, and that's just for taking down the like nefarious robots, the ones that will blow up and then you get a little head that sort of walks around them. So you just use the Warmonger on them to take them out easily enough. Another one that was a bit annoying to use because I didn't really like the weapon was the Icebreaker Bronze Trophy, just for I think it's so many kills with the weapon. Again, it's another one of those sort of trophies, but it's like a grenade, so you throw it down and then everything will turn into an ice block, and then you just need to hit the ice block to kill the enemy. That's one that you might just want to, as soon as you get that weapon, as soon as you buy it, just use it when there's a big crowd, so you only have to throw one and it should freeze like the whole crowd, and you can just get that out of the way quickly, because that's probably one of the more just weaker weapons in the game for me. The Hole Puncher trophy requires you to get, I think it's 20, maybe 20 or 10 headshots with the weapon. This is basically just a sniper rifle that has a zoom and a slow down time sort of effect to it. So just equip the Headhunter, use the scope, and just shoot whatever enemies are in the distance that you can see in the face. Sometimes it can be hard to make out the face on some of the robot enemies, so if there's like the smaller alien creatures around, just use them. But yeah, that's one that just you probably will have to get because you might not get it naturally, but it's not too bad. The rest of them then are just more of the story points. Once you reach certain milestones in the game's story, you'll just unlock these trophies. There wasn't really anything that I thought was like you had to go out your way to get in terms of these trophies. It's usually just maybe at the end of the planet you'll get it, or after you do some key event in the planet, or maybe the side mission of that planet, you'll tend to get a trophy. So they kind of come thick and fast, really. It kind of throws a lot of these trophies at you as you're just going through the game, which is kind of nice. It's just a shame most of them are just bronze trophies, which isn't that great. One of the things in the game is this thing where you control this spider robot called Glitch as you hack into certain terminals. Now, this was probably one of the more annoying things in the game. I didn't like the voice actor for the Glitch character. She was just really annoying. So these sort of levels were a bit of a slug, but you do have to do them all. Now, I know you can skip the Ratchet puzzle sections, and I'm not sure if you can skip these Glitch ones, but I would advise you not to, just in case you don't get the trophy, because you have to beat all of the levels with it. And like I said, the game is really easy, and there's a lot of accessibility options as well, so you can make things easier on yourself even more if you need to. So anyone can get this platinum, it's not that hard to do at all. Probably the easiest Ratchet and Clank game to platinum, to be fair. The silver trophy, Can't Stop Me, is for completing one of the gold events in the arena. So you have to do all the bronze cup, then all of the silver first in order to access the gold. So you'll just come back here later on in the story to do these, and you don't have to do them all either, so you can just pick whatever one you want to do on the gold cup and do that one. But again, they're all pretty easy anyway, and you will have to go and do them for other trophies to get the gold bolts or the spy bots or whatever else it gives you for one of the challenges. So you will need to do them all, but they are very, very easy. The Aim to Misbehave trophy is for acquiring the Rhino weapon, which if you played Ratchet and Clank games before, you'll know that that is the ultimate weapon of the game. And to get the weapon, to be able to buy it from the shop, you have to find all of the 10 spy bots, and these are just another collectible in the game. But there's one in every level kind of thing, and it's always marked on the map where it is, so they're easy to find. It shouldn't really give you too much of a problem. And to be fair, the Rhino in this game is kind of a bit crap, to be fair. It's not as good as some of the other games, but it is kind of cool. There's a couple of Easter eggs with it, so I definitely recommend you stand still and fire it off to see these Easter eggs. And with that, that's pretty much all of the sort of story-based ones that you'll naturally get just through playing the game and trying all the different weapons out. And once you beat the game, you'll get the gold trophy, Too Fuzz, Too Furious. And then, yeah, that's it. So let's move on to the collectible trophies in the game. So there's quite a few of these. So the first one that I found was the Planning Some Destruction bronze trophy, which requires you to just find your first spy bot, which is the collectible for the Rhino weapon. So again, these are just marked on your map. You can put a waypoint on them and then ping out the waypoint so you can easily see it as a marker on the environment as you're running around. So it just makes it really, really simple. It's much like the Spider-Man games in that respect. Another bronze trophy called More Than Lint will be awarded to you as another collectible once you find it's for finding your very first rift pocket. So these are sort of portals to another dimension that has like a mini sort of like platforming thing in there, and usually at the end of it you'll find like a spy bot, a gold bolt, or an armor piece for you to grab. So they're always worth going in because you will need to do all of them, but they're not challenging in the slightest. They're all kind of just really easy sort of platforming sections for you to get through, and if you die you just respawn and you can go back in and try again until you eventually get it, but none of them should really test your platforming skills all that much. Sartorial Steel is another one for finding your first pieces of armor, so you can customize your character, but I always hate that because if you customize your character, you're fully armored up with a helmet on and so you can't see your character, so I never really like to do that, but that's something in there that you can do with the game. Another collectible type and another trophy that you can get is the trophy called It's So Fluffy, for finding your very first Cragger Bear. Now these are a bit of a harder collectible to get that I'll talk about later because they aren't actually showed up on the map, but there were only 9 of them thankfully. The shiny bronze trophy is for finding your first gold bolt. So if you played the other Ratchet and Clank games, you'll know that there's usually a special bolt, a big gold bolt hidden somewhere in the level. And for the most part, they're kind of easy to find, especially because you can, like I said earlier with the other collectibles, you can mark them as a waypoint on your map and then just ping the location to sort of get a good idea of where it is, and then that usually allows you to just look around the room that it's in and see the way up to it. So they're all very easy to spot now. It's not like the old days where they were a lot harder to find. So again, that can go either way for you. You might hate that or you might love that. For me, I preferred that because it just made it easier to grab things. I didn't have to scratch my head for 20 minutes trying to figure out where it was and get frustrated. So you'll get a silver trophy for finding 5 of the gold bolts in the game. And it's also worth pointing out, every time you find a gold bolt, it unlocks a cheat within the menu, so you might have like big head mode, photo mode, infinite ammo and things like that, so it's worth getting them if you need some help with the game and just want to make it a bit different. The silver full rack trophy is awarded for you when you've purchased enough weapons to fill 1 ring of the weapon wheel, so I can't remember exactly how many it is, trying to count it in my head. I'd probably say it's like 10 or so weapons brought, and that'll give you the silver trophy, and that's just one that you'll naturally get because you'll naturally be spending the money every time you come across a vendor to buy more things. Feeding Frenzy, the bronze trophy, occurs on Rivet's homeworld, and this is one of the trophies that's sort of tied into a sort of side mission where you have to help Mork, one of Rivet's friends, to find the Zerp stones to feed Trudy, which is the dragon that you can fly on. So once you do 10, you'll get a piece of armour as well as the trophy. But make sure that you do take the time to grab every single one on the map, because you'll need to in order to get a spy bot for one of the trophies. The bronze might have broken something is for collecting 3 lorbs, and these are another type of collectible in the game, and there's 12 of them. But only 3 of them are needed for the platinum, and it's on the 4th planet, Bali. There's an NPC in the middle of the map by the hot springs, and once you speak to him, he'll sort of give you a mission to go around and find these and bring them back to him. So yeah, that's another sort of easy one. That's sort of like a side mission thing as well, sort of ties in with it together kind of thing. Next up we have the Does This Make My Tail Look Big silver trophy, which requires you to equip a head, torso and leg armor piece. So these don't actually need to be matching in the same set, so you can have 1 wasteland gear, 1 captain gear, 1 Q-force gear for example. As long as it's a head, armor and leg piece, you'll get the trophy. So that's the collectibles. Let's talk about some of the grindy trophies in the game. So first up, there aren't really many of these, and they're not really that bad to be fair, but I thought I'd separate them slightly kind of. So first up is the silver They Blow Up So Fast trophy, which just requires you to level up a weapon to level 5. So every time you fire your gun and kill enemies, you will earn XP. If you hit the enemy, basically, and then kill them, you get XP. So you just need to pick a good weapon, keep using it, and keep leveling up throughout the 5 levels. And once you do that, you'll get the trophy. The next trophy that's sort of tied to this is there's even a cup holder silver trophy, which is awarded to you for fully upgrading your weapon. So if you get the weapon to level 5, you'll find that when you go to the shop, you can go to R1 to go to the upgrade menu, and you can use all the raritanium, the sort of glowing crystals that you find, to spend on points to upgrade your weapon. And you just basically need to upgrade the whole thing to get the weapon, but you'll be collecting loads of raritanium to easily do that, so it's not really an issue. And you want to do that anyway because it makes all the weapons a lot better. The gold fully stacked trophy is for just purchasing every single weapon in the game. So you'll need to complete the whole game and buy every weapon that you come across, and then go into your challenge mode playthrough, which is like your New Game Plus, because when you go into there, you'll be able to buy the pixelated gun and another one which I can't remember what it is, but there's another weapon in there that you sort of just buy, and that's how you get that trophy. So finally, I'm going to talk about some of the trophies that gave me a little bit of trouble. First up is the Shifty Character trophy for hitting every single Blizon crystal on the planet Blizar and Cordelian. So these are 2 levels in the game where you find these purple glowing crystals, and when you smack them, it sort of transforms you to another dimension. And in total across the 2 levels, there are 30 of the crystals that you have to get. And they basically, most of them will allow you to progress through the level to complete it, but there are a couple that are off the beaten path, and I found that when I got my last one, it actually glitched out the world and didn't load it in properly, so I had to die to restart to fix it. Another one that was a bit of a problem was the Extinction Event trophy for killing 5 Grunthors. Now, if you've watched my that one bullshit PlayStation trophy, you'll see these are in that to explain it even more, but basically there's just about 5 Grunthors in the game, so if you don't kill them all, you may well miss out on it and it could glitch on you. But if you feel like you're not going to get it, just find your first one, kill him, and then just die. It should just respawn you before and you can just easily get it. But be aware, the undead ones in the arena don't count towards a trophy. The hardest weapon trophy is the return policy one, which requires you to use the void weapon, which is like this shield thing, to bounce back enemy projectiles. But what it doesn't tell you is that you have to get the weapon to level 5 first, and then upgrade it in the vendor shop to be able to reflect projectiles back. And it's a really awkward one because you can end up killing the enemy with the shield itself and not the bullet. So that one might take you a while to actually unlock. It's really a bit of an annoying trophy, probably the worst one to be fair. The only other annoying one is the gold unbearably awesome trophy for getting all of the bears. So there are 9 of these, and unfortunately they're not marked on the map anywhere, so you'll more than likely have to use a video guide on YouTube like I did to find these. It's basically just one in every planet, and once you get close to them you'll see a triangle prompt, but they are hard to see to be fair, so just use a guide with those and you should be okay. And yeah, once you've done that, you will have your platinum trophy. So yeah, it was actually a really fun platinum journey for me. I really enjoyed this one. So all that's left now is for me to give it a final rating, and of course, it's going to be Plat it, because Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is not only one of the best PS5 exclusives, it's also one of the most fun. It's not bullshit and hard like Demon Souls or, you know, Returnal. It's one that anyone can platinum, and it's just an enjoyable and fun experience while it lasts. And there's nothing really bullshit about the trophies, so I definitely recommend you platinum in this one. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.